G'day viewers, I wanted to have a bit of a ramble on a topic that's been getting a bit of coverage on YouTube of late from some very high profile names. A lot of people under the banner of saying save YouTube have been asserting that some of the changes YouTube has made this year damaging, I guess, the livelihoods of some very high profile YouTubers to such an extent that it threatens the very fundamentals of what YouTube is. Now, completely coincidentally, not that long ago I made a video talking about the YouTube community, and for me at least it's stronger than ever. I have great fun with people who I regard as the YouTube community, and thinking back over the years, it seems every 6 months some clown wants to come out and say YouTube is dying, and the angle they've always used is the community is dying. It's not as good as the good old days, it's not as good as this. And I have consistently asserted anyone who says the community is dying, well, it's more than likely they're actually the problem rather than the community. But this time there are two big differences that I'm seeing. One is the cry isn't that the community is dying, it's that some very high profile people are suffering significant losses to their audience, in some cases figures that people have said have been 40% or more, and I've looked at their views and that's a fairly accurate representation of some of the losses in views. So that's one thing that's different. It's not talking about the communities, it's talking about views, particularly for bigger name YouTubers. Yeah, and secondly, it's about their livelihood. People are saying, well, you've been used to seeing these people and they're making their living from YouTube, and they're now finding that difficult, you know, bordering on impossible if things keep going the way they are. So when I look at that, there's almost 2 points that come to me. One is that, you notice people are saying about, I can't make money off YouTube, or these people are finding it harder to make money from YouTube. And it is a little bit hard to resist saying, well, you know, suck it up a bit. Just a simple reality for a start. Sites like YouTube, and another one that people have complained about the way they treat people who use it, that springs to mind is AdSense, which runs the main advertising feature on YouTube. But people completely outside of YouTube have complained about AdSense's behaviour as well, sometimes with very good cause. These companies, YouTube, Facebook, AdSense, when you sign up agreements with them to use the site in an attempt to make money, you sign an agreement. And to cut out all the legalese, all of these agreements have one feature in common that's basically we can do whatever we like and we can change whatever we like, and if you don't like it, sucks to be you. And there is this fundamental thing: if you don't like that condition, if you don't like the fact that they can change things in a way that doesn't suit you, then don't go into business with them. I've seen more than one people say the whole thing of using YouTube as a revenue stream, or setting up a company page on Facebook, or many blog hosting sites, it's sort of digital feudalism. There's all these people working on something they don't own, and the castle overlord owns it and makes the majority of the revenue, and the people out there, you know, the serfs, you bring it up a bit in history and call them sharecroppers, people out there working the lands as hard as they can, sometimes just barely making subsistence, sometimes not even, you know, and they can't control the future because they don't own anything. They're working on someone else's land. And that is the reality of it. And I've mentioned this before, it's a very high risk venture to stake your plans for the future on something that someone else owns. You're relying on them continuing to be nice to you. Quite a risk to take. And you can say that if that blows up in your face, like the changes on YouTube affecting some people adversely, then you can say, well, just deal with it. Go somewhere else. Now, I looked up market share, and YouTube has a bigger market share than I thought. I have a link down here. they've basically got 25 times bigger market share than their nearest competitor. They've got like 75% of the entire market, and the next closest is on about 3%. In practical terms, it's YouTube or no one. And if you don't like what YouTube's doing, you may be pretty much stuck. The second point I'd say past that is a lot of the people raising this, they aren't whiners. They aren't idiots. A lot of times in the past when I've seen people going, oh, YouTube's dying, I said, you're an idiot. You're talking crap. At this stage, a lot of the people saying it are not idiots. They're very high profile people who work really hard. They're people that sometimes I know personally, sometimes I know through YouTube, sometimes I just watch, but they're people I respect. People who are hard workers, people who do good stuff, and they are genuinely stating a true fact that YouTube's making it less and less viable for them to continue. And this is where I've always tried to restrict myself. That if I'm going to criticize a decision YouTube or Google makes, it should only make sense if it hurts them. Why should they give a shit if it hurts me? Why should they give a shit if it hurts the top people on YouTube? If it doesn't hurt them, then it's a good business decision. But when I see the people speaking up, I do think this may possibly be the first time YouTube needs to sit up and take notice of what people are saying. Like, yes, at the moment, they look almost unassailable. But there was a time when MySpace looked unassailable. Internet Explorer used to have over 90% of the market share of web browsers. That was only a few years ago. And now they're only number 2. Google Chrome has passed them in usage statistics. So while YouTube looks unassailable and has looked unassailable for years, anyone sensible knows this is a passing thing. It might take 5 years, it might take 10 years, but the stranglehold will be broken. And it's in YouTube and Google's interests to hold that day off for as long as possible. And when a huge, huge number of your major content providers said, this is a problem, you're in danger of killing the golden goose, it might be time for YouTube to pay attention. In this case, with so many voices, I would be surprised if YouTube, Google doesn't give any response at all. In the past, I felt they simply haven't responded. When people have said, I've got concerns about the site, I've got concerns about this, they've ignored people completely. And I almost think they had to, because they've got millions of voices saying a million different things and they can't respond to them. I almost feel like this time they're going to have to give some sort of response. Time will tell if they do. But yeah, I did look at some of the statistics. Oh, and for my mind, a lot of people have been talking about, oh, the subscribers have been cut. Oh, they've lost 10,000, they've lost 50,000. For those who haven't twigged, the number of subscribers and how well you do on YouTube is not a one-to-one correlation. The biggest fuck up YouTube does in the subscriber front is not communicating to subscribers when the people they subscribe to post new videos. That's been driving me mad for years. They just don't seem to be able to get that right, and they seem to be making it consistently worse. So when people are saying, oh, losing all these thousands of subscribers, I don't think that's such a big deal. YouTube has said they've just been culling dormant accounts. There have been lots of anecdotal accounts of people saying, I'm active and I was unsubscribed from people that I didn't want to be unsubscribed from. So many reports that I have to assume that it's actually true, that it's happening. But that's not the thing. It's the total number of views that counts. You can have 1 million subscribers, but if you're not getting 1 million views, it doesn't matter. But like I said, actual statistics have shown that a bunch of high-profile people, people with hundreds of thousands to millions of subscribers, people have been used to getting hundreds of thousands to millions of views, losing, you know, up to 40% and in some cases more of the views just this year. And it isn't about a difference in the quality of their videos, at least not always. It's largely a case of YouTube changing the way they present videos and present the site is making it harder for viewers to see these things they used to see. Seems to be favouring the absolute top micro thin layer of professional and independently produce stuff, yeah, honestly, they have for years been promoting just a small layer at the top. There was a little bit in me that when I saw particularly American YouTubers saying, oh, I'm not getting seen as much, they're not showing my videos, they cut out this category. There was a part of me that was want to say, yeah, welcome to my world, bitch. Which again is a bit churlish, because one of the best things that ever happened to me on YouTube is when they introduced localized content. When someone from Australia logged into YouTube, it detected an Australian IP address, it defaulted to showing them Australian content. And that worked fabulously well for me. And then they stopped doing that 2 or 3 years ago, right about the time I thought I'd give it a go at making YouTube full time. Bad timing on my part, because when they cut out the localization, I lost, without exaggeration, like 80% of my new views, new subscribers. That hurt a lot. So, and since then and prior to then, YouTube had always been very US centric. So now when I see US people saying, oh, they changed that and I don't get as many views, I went, now you know what it feels like. But, like I said, that's a little bit mean to say that. But, yeah, I don't think YouTube is going anywhere soon. It's a simple fact of life and economics. A lot of people I like are being hurt and might fade away, which would be sad, because I think they do really good work and I hope they keep going. Yeah, look, maybe petitioning YouTube helps. I don't know. I have no idea how much they're going to listen to this. It would be nice if they did, if they actually said, oh, wow, these people who've put so much in. And yes, YouTube doesn't owe anyone anything. I don't care how much work you've done, how many videos you've made. YouTube doesn't owe you anything. In fact, YouTube's given far more than anyone really has a right to expect. I mean, people, again, I've brought this up before, people gloss over the fact that YouTube makes easy what used to be impossible. They give you the opportunity to reach this massive audience that's in, I don't know, the hundreds of millions of people around the world. Yeah, it might be harder now than it has been at other times, but it's still possible. So, yeah, I don't think YouTube's going to die soon. I think it's true that a lot of people are being hurt by the changes. And I honestly think it would be a good thing for YouTube and Google themselves to pay a bit of attention. Do I hold out hope they will? No, not really. Because they won't immediately see anything that compels them to. Who knows? Maybe in a year we'll have a better picture. Maybe we won't. That's a bit pointless, isn't it? I rambled on for God knows how long to come to, maybe something will happen, maybe it won't. That was the whole point of this talk, people. Me coming to the point of saying, maybe something will happen, and maybe it won't. I'm glad you stuck around for that.